Hello, welcome to Bachmann Europe, and it's great to be back to kick off 2026 with our spring British Railway announcements. Now, we ended last year on a high, with key new releases like the brand new Branchline Class 66, the Class 69s and the Graham Farish V2s all arriving to give us a baker's dozen of new tooling releases in 2025. This year we're starting with two new toolings, and we'll get onto our Bachmann Branchline tooling later on. Before that, we've got new tooling for N scale, but let's start with a look at the latest news from the Bachmann Collectors Club.
New from the Bachmann Collectors Club this spring, we have the stunning Graham Farish LNER V2, and it is none other than class pioneer and the most famous V2 of them all, Green Arrow, that we've selected for our next N-scale limited edition. Our model of Green Arrow depicts the famous locomotive during its service life with British Railways, carrying the lime green livery with lake crests on the tender. The locomotive carries one of the Eastern region's most prestigious shed codes, 34A for King's Cross Top Shed, and was withdrawn from here in August 1962, but thankfully survives as part of the national collection. The new club exclusive model is available now and is priced at £219.95 or £329.95 with sound fitted. As ever, club members enjoy a 10% discount, meaning they can purchase Green Arrow for £197.95 or £296.95 with sound. For those looking for a model of Green Arrow in its preserved condition, in LNER apple green livery, this version will be arriving with locomotion models next month. Head over to their website for more information. We have a new 00 scale model today too, and this is the new Bachmann Branchline BR Mark 1 First Open coach adorned with West Coast Railway Company's maroon livery and finishes number 3136 Diana. So whether you have a Diana in your life or just want to expand your collection of West Coast coaches, and there's several to choose from in the main Branchline range right now, this is the model for you. Priced at £67.95, club members pay just £60.95, and both our new Mark 1 and Green Arrow are in stock and available now. First date for club members' diaries this year is the 20th of June, when our Practically Perfect sale returns to Market Bosworth on the Battlefield line. We've opted to hold our 2026 event on a Saturday to help those travelling by public transport, and a free shuttle bus will be running between the venue and transport hubs in Hinckley and Nuneaton to get you there and back. Starting with N-scale for our new main range items this spring, and we have some perennial favourites returning to the Scenecraft range of handcrafted, fully finished models that you can place instantly on any layout or diorama. First we have the office block, which now comes with a choice of blue or red doors. This single-storey building has a railway feel about it, but could equally be used away from the line side. We have a choice of blue or red doors for the low-relief terraced house fronts too. Homes like these can be found across the UK, and our low-relief models make a perfect backdrop in minimal space. The railways were born to move coal, and coal stays like this pair from Scenecraft were found in goods yards across the land, where coal would be unloaded from wagons, then moved onwards either by horse, the animal kind, or later by horsepower, the mechanical type. Finally, we have the diesel fuelling point, an essential part of any depot or stabling site, ever since diesel traction was introduced in the mid-20th century. With such a vast range of models available from Graham Farish, alongside all the buildings and accessories from Scenecraft, and pretty much everything you need to build any layout, big or small, produced by the likes of Woodland Scenics and Pico, there's never been a better time to model in N, whether you're a seasoned modeller or new to the hobby. With N, big dreams can fit into small spaces, or why not be ambitious and create a masterpiece in miniature where trains can take their time to run through sprawling landscapes. With a vast range rivaled only by 00 scale, today we're welcoming back some of our favourite Graham Farish models, starting with the Class 101 DMU, the most numerous and successful first generation diesel multiple units. And today we start with a model in the iconic BR Green livery, complete with speed whiskers. This two-car unit depicts a power twin, so both vehicles are equipped with an engine and the associated underfloor gear, but on the model only one car is motorised. Two character headcode blinds are found below the cab windows and each displays B6, whilst the destination blinds are set for Bradford and Doncaster. The 101s were generally repainted from BR Green to all over blue, and in this livery we have a second example, again with the two character headcode blinds, although these are blank as they had fallen out of use during the 1970s. Meanwhile, this unit is working between Hartlepool and Darlington. Completing our trio of two-car units, we have the distinctive Regional Railways colour scheme, carried by 101 660. Note that on this example, which is operated on the Sheffield to Manchester Piccadilly route, the headcode boxes have gone and a high-intensity headlight is fitted in their place. This is operational on the Graham Farish model, of course. All of our Class 101s are available with optional sound fitted, which have a DCC sound decoder pre-fitted in the motorised vehicle and a function decoder in the trailer to give full digital control of the unit's motor and directional lights, whilst providing authentic sounds. The travelling post office has long captured the imagination of rail enthusiasts and railway modellers alike, and following the arrival of our new Mark I POT coaches last year, it's time to welcome back the POS post office sorting vans to go alongside them so that you can create epic mail trains with ease. First we have the original post office red livery, and this model sports the original side lights which were removed in later years. The familiar BR blue and grey scheme came next. By now the side lights are gone, but the vehicle still runs on BR-B1 bogies. In later years the POSs returned to the colour that we all associate with Royal Mail, red, and we've finished this model in the Royal Mail letters livery. Note too, its B1 bogies have been replaced with newer B4 types. Our final model is complete with revised logos and Royal Mail travelling post office branding, and whilst also running on B4 bogies, this model has scallop roof vents instead of the shell vents found atop the first three. So whilst all four models may look identical on the face of it, all are unique beyond their livery in fact. Turning to wagons, and the venerable 8 plank open wagon is back, with the end door version now carrying the grey livery of Modern Transport Liverpool, or the red of T&C Scowcroft and Son Limited. We have 2 fixed end examples too, one in grey livery with Stewart's and Lloyd's Limited branding, and a second, again in red, belonging to Gas Company Penistone. Modern open wagons tend to be on a much larger scale than their old wooden counterparts, and that is certainly the case with the HYA coal hoppers, which measure more than 18 metres in length. Introduced from 2007, the wagons carry coal to the UK's coal-fired power stations, and we have 2 models finished with GBRF branding and coal lettering. A further pair carry the same GBRF branding, but the coal lettering has been replaced by the logo of Wagon Hire Company VTG. By this point the wagons have been recoded as IIAs, finding work on biomass trains as the UK moved away from using coal as the fuel for its power stations.
Now it's been more than 5 years since we launched the EFE Rail range, and in that time we've introduced a wide variety of new models in N, OO and O scale. Back in 2020 it was the N scale Class 17 Clayton locomotives that headlined the brand's introduction, and since then we've also delivered the D600 warships. Today we're making it a trio of new N scale diesels for EFE Rail, as we're proud to present the Class 23 Baby Deltics.
Another type that has never been produced in N scale, the new EFE Rail models tell the story of this class of 10 locomotives that were ordered from English Electric as part of BR's 1955 modernisation plan. Initially known as Type B locos, these Bobos were broadly similar in appearance, but much shorter than the Type C machines, later Class 40, that were ordered at the same time. Delivered from spring 1959, the locomotives were powered by a Napier Deltic engine, and as built they had disc head codes, but by early 1965 all had been rebuilt with central head code boxes. Their new head code boxes gave the locomotives some aesthetical similarities to the much larger Class 55 Deltics, but it was the use of a Napier Deltic power unit, half the size of that found in the Class 55s, that gave the Class 23s the nickname Baby Deltics. Totalling just 10 locomotives, the Baby Deltics were early casualties when BR attempted to standardise its fleet, and the first example was withdrawn in 1968. All had gone by 1971. D5901 worked a few more years, having transferred to the Railway Technical Centre in 1969, where it survived until November 1975 when it was replaced by a Class 24. The EFE Rail model has been designed to portray the real locomotives throughout their working lives, so 2 body shells have been produced, one with head code discs for the as-built examples, and a second with central head code panels. Powered by a coreless motor, DCC provision comes in the form of a Next18 decoder socket, and space is provided for a speaker for those wishing to add sound. Directional lights are fitted, and a switch is provided on the PCB to turn off the red tail lights, or this can be done via a function key when a DCC decoder is fitted. We're offering the Baby Deltics in no fewer than 10 guises, and we're starting with models of D5902, D5906, D5907 and D5909, each carrying BR green with a lower body side band. Entering traffic before BR had mandated the use of yellow warning panels, the green ends feature 4 head code lights, and a selection of open and closed head code discs are provided so that authentic train head codes can be displayed to suit individual requirements. After having central head code blinds fitted at either end, the locomotives emerged with a revised paint scheme too, now boasting a light green band around the entire locomotive, replacing the off-white band and red buffer beam cowling previously seen. A small yellow warning panel has been added to complete the look, as modelled by D5900 and D5905. The same livery is worn by D5901, but this is the locomotive that found a second life with the RTC, and we've included the data panels that were added in 1969 to capture this RTC machine accurately. BR progressively expanded the yellow ends painted onto its locomotives, from the small panels to painting the entire ends. Not many of the baby Deltics survived long enough to receive this embellishment, but D5903 and D5908 are two of those that did, working out their final years in this condition before they succumbed to withdrawal. D5909 was unique amongst the 10 locomotives in receiving the BR Blue livery, which was applied in 1968, complete with BR double arrows beneath each cabside window and full yellow ends. In this condition, the locomotive survived until 1971, when it became the last baby Deltic to be withdrawn from revenue earning stock. The models are about to enter production, meaning that EFE Rail baby Deltics will be in the shops later this year. And that's all for N scale this quarter, but staying with EFE Rail, and we have some new models for 00 scale this spring too. Now that the authentic Isle of Wight coach sets have arrived, we are delighted to present another set of these models, but with a twist. At the time these were conceived, models of bogie coaches, authentic or otherwise, did not exist for many of the pre-grouping railway companies, so we took the opportunity to apply a selection of colourful liveries from the early 20th century to the EFE Rail models. The 54-foot non-corridor vehicles will be available firstly in LBSCR Raw Umber. The Isle of Wight coaches were rebuilt from former LBSCR vehicles, so these models give a real flavour of what might have been had the rebuilding taken place a few years earlier. With the Caledonian Railway Class 812 already produced by Bachmann Branchline and the Class 439 on the way too, we're producing coaches in the company's signature off-white and plum scheme to run with them. The Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway is another operator that has been well represented by Bachmann models in the past, so again we opted for the colour so often associated with the S&D, Prussian Blue, for our third set of coaches, complemented by the ornate yellow lining. Completing the lineup is a trio of models in lime teak. The livery application has been expertly crafted to replicate the teak wood panelling that many of the Victorian railway companies used for their coaches, from the North Eastern Railway to the Great Central, the Great Northern and the Metropolitan to name just 4. Each livery will adorn a brake third, a composite and a third, and the models are in production now for delivery in late spring. Now I certainly don't fancy a ride on an open top bus right now, but to help us dream of summer days, we're delighted to welcome back the EFE Road Sea Dogs this spring. Over to you, Gary.
9 open-top Leyland Atlanteans were built for Devon General in 1961, quickly gaining the nickname Sea Dogs, as each one was named after an historic naval or maritime figure. The vehicles were revolutionary, being convertible with detachable roofs that allowed them to be used as open-toppers in the summer months, while still being able to offer fully enclosed accommodation in cold or inclement weather. Our first item for this spring announcement represents the Sea Dogs during this golden era, a Devon General Sea Dog Atlantean gift set. The set contains a pair of Sea Dogs in Devon General's iconic cream livery with red bands, 932 GTA Earl Howe in its original condition as DL 932 with cream wheels, and 930 GTA Sir John Hawkins in its revised condition with red wheels and lifeguards as plain 930 without the DL prefix. A reprint of the original Devon General Sea Dog information brochure is also included in the set. Devon General became part of the National Bus Company in 1969, and the NBC soon imposed a standard colour scheme of poppy red and white, as worn by our next model of 928 GTA Sir Humphrey Gilbert. In 1983, Sea Dog 932 GTA moved to the NBC's East Yorkshire operation, working sightseeing tours of Bridlington for the remainder of the 1980s. The move led to the vehicle being repainted into a striking white and blue livery, receiving the fleet number 904 and a new name, Belvedere Star. 5 of the 9 Sea Dogs survive today, thanks to the hard work and dedication of preservationists like Jonathan Hawkins, who has returned 925 GTA Admiral Blake to its original Devon General colour scheme. Now carrying the registration MSJ 499, Jonathan's pride and joy can be found at rallies and on private hire, and this vehicle is reproduced by EFE Road, which completes the spring releases.
Next we have new Scenecraft for 00 scale, and not only are these models perfect to bring your model railway to life, they can be used with EFE Road vehicles too, so why not create a diorama with Scenecraft and display your die-cast buses to full effect. A simple backdrop could be yours in an instant with our latest low relief buildings. Look out for the Station Road Newsagent, a rental store, our music store, the Master Butchers, or how about the low relief electrical store. Used with our corner pavements and drop curbs and straight pavements to complete the look. Turn to the railway and the impressive 2-road stone engine shed makes a return with 2 versions available. one with red woodwork and guttering, and a second with these features finished in blue. The parachute water tower is based on an iconic Great Western design and is crucial for any steam operation, whereas once diesel traction arrived, diesel fueling points became indispensable. Also returning to the range is a single road servicing shed, based on that found at Peterborough. Many stations provided goods facilities, and this corrugated goods shed, in cream and brown or grey and blue, offers covered storage for loads awaiting onward transport. Once loaded into wagons, many cargoes were sheeted over with tarpaulins, something you can mimic with our tarpaulin covered wagon loads. The yard crane and loading gauge is another iconic goods yard pairing, the former aiding the handling of goods and the latter ensuring that wagons were not overloaded. Meanwhile, the travelling post office took the transportation of goods, in this case mail, to another level with on-the-move mail exchanges facilitated by TPO apparatus like this. Nowadays the TPO gear is all gone and you're more likely to find CCTV and surveillance equipment on the line side, which you can now model using the Scenicraft Rail site and crossing CCTV. Several smaller details and accessory items returned to the Scenicraft range this spring, including the wooden lamp hut, sectional line side hut, fibreboard hut, and we're restocking our narrow platform ramps too. The modern industrial chimney is back, and you can pair this structure with a wide variety of industrial buildings for a bespoke combination to suit your layout. The sleeper-built fencing is ideal for creating bespoke scenes too, as is the new 6-foot inset walls and pillars. Walk down many streets in the UK and you'll see walling just like this in abundance. Rounding up some more returning favourites, we have the domestic wheelie bins, propane cylinders, milk churns and brick coal bunker, all coming back into stock this spring. You can't bring a scene to life without people, and Scenicraft figures have long been the choice of the discerning modeller thanks to their lifelike appearance and lavish decoration. Today we have 5 new figure sets starting with the Bus Cruiser and Inspector, ideal for use with both model railways and model buses. The post-war era schoolboys are playing all sorts of games, from football with the obligatory jumpers for goalposts, to one about to give his friend a push in their homemade cart. Let's hope the wheels don't fall off just yet. The 1980s commuters include one gent doing so well that he's the proud owner of one of the first mobile phones. I bet his wrist aches after holding that thing to his ear for any length of time. With pocket-sized devices and generally more streamlined attire, we present the 1990s and 2000s modern commuters who had better be on their best behaviour. If not, the modern police figures complete with mounted cavalry, dog unit and even armed response might be called to duty. Luckily there are no Scenicraft cars to fall foul of the officer with a speed gun. Maybe he's keeping the EFE Road vehicles in check. We finish at Bachmann Branchline today, and first of all we have 2 new train sets to kick things off. The Eastern Express features the iconic V2 class locomotive Green Arrow, paired with 2 Newton Chambers car transporters, reminiscent of the express non-passenger services on which the V2s excelled. All of these sets come with an oval of track, a Luxmore Vale layout mat, and a year's free membership to the Bachmann Collectors Club. The standard set comes with an analogue controller, but opt for the Eastern Express digital set to experience our new Kinesis Go DCC hub and rail controller software. Link your track to your computer with Kinesis Go and control your train set with rail controller on your PC or via the handheld app. The V2 is pre-fitted with a premium ESU decoder so you can start your DCC journey straight away. For the diesel enthusiast, our Suburban Sulzer set rekindles the days of busy commuter trains with a Class 25 diesel locomotive pulling 2 Suburban coaches. Again, the set comes complete with a free membership to the Bachmann Collectors Club, along with the oval of track, layout mat and analogue controller. Or upgrade to our sound fitted set and your Class 25 comes with a premium Zemo sound decoder pre-installed. Connect your layout to your PC using Kinesis Go and you'll be using rail controller to operate all the lights and sounds of your Class 25 in no time at all. The first new additions to our locomotive lineup this spring see the Great Central Railway 9J making its return. In original condition is number 295 in the beautiful lined black livery that is worn so well by the Robinson designed pom-pom, nicknamed as such due to their exhaust noise sounding very much like the guns of the same name. The LNER classified the 9Js as J11s, the J denoting a locomotive with an 060 wheel formation, and this classification continued to be our days, and we're modelling 64305 in BR black with early emblems. Both models come in standard format or with sound fitted. Another popular 060 tender loco, but one with Midland roots, is the 3835 class, better known as the 4F under the LMS classification system, and number 3850 carries early LMS livery with its ruin number displayed on its Johnson Dealey pattern tender, and LMS markings on the cab sides. British Railways was born from nationalisation in 1948, and before adopting the early emblem, British Railways wording was applied to locomotives as they went through works. This early style of livery is applied to the Branchline 4F for the first time, carried on the Fowler tender coupled to number 43892. From 1956, BR started to replace the early emblem with a heraldic crest, and this is displayed on the Fowler tender of 43982. Note the yellow cabside stripe, which denoted that the locomotive was prohibited to work on the West Coast Main Line south of Crewe from September 1964, due to the newly installed overhead electrified lines. Again, all three versions are available with sound fitted. Our model of the Unknown Warrior has been a long time coming, as we waited for the LMS Patriot project to confirm some details around the new build tender. But we're glad to report that the real locomotive will now start off with a standard Fowler tender, so we can get on with producing the Branchline model this year and helping the project get the real loco on the rails. We have another Patriot joining the range this spring, and we've selected 45524 Blackpool in BR lined green with early emblems. The LMS named several of its Patriot locomotives after the seaside destinations that it served, and many of us have fond memories of time spent in Blackpool. So what better way to bring happy holidays and happy hobbies together than by adding our new Branchline model to your collection. Continuing today's Midland theme, we welcome back the pioneering twins, LMS 10000 and 10001, which were Britain's first mainline diesel locomotives, and here we present 10000 in its iconic black and silver livery with BR early emblems. From 1953 the twins were sent to the southern region, and for this they gained additional headcode lights and lamp brackets to suit the southern 6-position system, and we present this model with those features. 10001 is depicted in the BR lined green livery that it received in 1956, complete with BR lake crests. By this time the pair had returned to the Midland region, but retained the additional lights and lamp brackets they had gained for their stint in the sunny south. Despite being twins, there were subtle differences between the two, which are accurately captured on the Branchline models, like 10000's bodyside steps and the differing positions of roof details and features. Both models feature cab lights and directional lights, with the option to choose between passenger or freight headcode light configurations. Before we conclude today's announcements with our new Branchline tooling, let's see which rolling stock is returning this spring, starting with the Southern Railway's 12-ton ventilated van. These distinctive vans were built with a variety of cladding, and our latest releases depict vans clad with planks of an even width. Choose from SR Brown, the vibrant blue of Express Dairy Company, or BR Bauxite. BR produced many standard designs for locomotives and rolling stock, and the cov hops were introduced in 1952 to become the standard covered hopper wagon used to transport powders like sand, soda ash and sugar. Two models are finished in BR Bauxite livery, complete with tops markings. A second pair carry bauxite with a broad black band and lettered BIS Sand for Rockware Glass Limited, a common livery for the cov hops as many were used for this traffic. BR's extensive fleet of open, steel-bodied mineral wagons included a large number of 27-ton tipplers, used to transport payloads that were happy being exposed to the elements, and 3 models of the tippler wagon will be available, starting with an example in BR grey with sand markings. Some wagons were used by private owners, including the Lancashire Steel Manufacturing Company, which employed a dark grey livery. Meanwhile, in later years, others were used to transport heavy ingot moulds, and were painted with a yellow band and lettered accordingly. OCA wagons were another standard BR design, which were introduced at the start of the 1980s as a general-purpose open wagon, and we're offering 3 models. One carries the Rail Freight red livery as delivered. The familiar black and orange of load haul is depicted too. Meanwhile, our final example is of a wagon in DB cargo ownership which wears EWS maroon and gold, albeit in work-worn condition and complete with an irregular marking or two. Our final wagons for spring 2026 depict those given the tops code POA, but we have 2 distinctly different designs, starting with the mineral wagons used by Foster Yeoman and ARC that had been created in the late 1980s by fitting new bodies to the frames of various tank wagons. 2 models carry grey with the large blue Y logos of Foster Yeoman, while the second pair are finished in mustard yellow with ARC branding. In each case the logo of leasing company Tiger is present. The POA scrap wagons were built to carry scrap, unsurprisingly, and ownership of these wagons began with Standard Rail Freight, which painted them in a bright blue and yellow livery. We're depicting 2 such wagons, of which one has a weathered finish. BR bought the wagons in 1990, upon which they were recoded SSA, before later passing into EWS ownership. It is their unmistakable colour scheme that adorns our final wagon, which is enhanced with a weathered effect.
So now it's time for new tooling for the Bachmann Branchline range, and I'm sure many of you will be jubilant to see the Jubilees return in new and improved forms. Let's go back to Gary to find out more.
One of Sir William Stanier's most iconic designs, the LMS Jubilee has long been a jewel in the LMS and BR Midland region modeller's fleet. And now, these powerful 460s returned to the Branchline range with upgrades and new tooling to depict the locomotives built with long fireboxes. The LMS built 191 Jubilees between 1934 and 1936, and by early 1935 a total of 113 had been outshopped. The final 78 examples entered traffic from late 1935 onwards, and had longer fireboxes, owing to the LMS employing sloping firebox throat plates instead of the straight versions that featured on the first 113 locos. Until now, models of the long firebox Jubilees have not been produced to modern standards, so we're delighted to add these important locomotives to the Branchline range. A selection of models will be available showcasing a range of detail differences, including single and double chimneys, Fowler and Stanier tenders, and with or without AWS equipment. We will also be modelling the popular preserved locomotive Bahamas, which is one of the earlier built locos with a short firebox and is a unique survivor, being the only preserved Jubilee fitted with a double chimney. All of the new Branchline Jubilees boast a powerful drive mechanism with electric pickups on the locomotive driving wheels and tender wheels. All models come with etched nameplates and boast a high level of detail, including sprung buffers and an adjustable tender drawbar. A firebox lighting system and pre-fitted speaker can be found in every model, and sound-fitted versions will be available too. Number 5742 Connaught was the 191st and last Jubilee to be built, emerging at the end of 1936 in LMS Crimson Lake and coupled with a riveted Stanier tender from new. In 1940, the locomotive was fitted with a double chimney, and it is in this condition that we're modelling Connaught. BR finally removed the double chimney in 1955. Moving to the BR period, and lime green livery with early emblems adorns number 45671 Prince Rupert. Coupled to a riveted Stanier tender, Prince Rupert was based at Newton Heath near Manchester for much of its early BR career, and was a well-travelled machine, reaching Scotland, Wales, and was even noted on Royal Train duties. Number 45704 Leviathan is depicted in later BR condition, now with lake crests on the tender and fitted with AWS equipment. The tender is a Fowler riveted type formerly coupled to a Patriot, and Leviathan ran with this for many years, remaining paired to it until withdrawal in 1965. We also present number 45596 Bahamas, which boasts a short firebox and double chimney, making it a unique survivor. It has spent the last 7 years operating successfully on the main line and on heritage railways after the Bahamas Locomotive Society triumphantly returned it to steam in 2018. It's now been withdrawn for overhaul, and sales from our model will support the real locomotive's speedy return to steam. Talking of Bahamas, the locomotive's Mark IIA mainline support coach is currently available from the Bachmann Collectors Club. This BFK perfectly complements our forthcoming model of Bahamas itself, so don't miss out and order yours today. See the club website for details.
It's always a pleasure to work with great groups like the Bahamas Locomotive Society, and we've also been busy working with a number of our retailers and other railway organisations to develop more exclusive models, several of which have broken cover over the last few months. The iconic North Eastern Railway snowplough that resides in Locomotion Shildon is the latest subject from the National Railway Museum's collection to be produced by Bachmann Branchline in 00 scale for locomotion models and their National Collection in Miniature series. The models are now at an advanced stage of development and will be arriving later this year. Alongside the preserved vehicle, further models depicting the ploughs in their NER, LNER and BR days will be produced, and these can be ordered exclusively through Railway Icons. Rails of Sheffield, meanwhile, has commissioned a second production run of LMS 10,000 in its original LMS livery, ideal if you are looking for a model of this pioneer in its earliest condition. Furthermore, Rails has ordered a pair of BR Mark I BSK coaches finished in the Railway Technical Centre's red and blue livery, depicting Test Car 5 and Laboratory 12. Both models utilise the latest Branchline Mark I tooling and will arrive this summer. The final model for the Rails this quarter is a Scenecraft low relief replica of their flagship Chesterfield Road shopfront in 00 scale. This is in stock and available now. When we launched the brand new Branchline Class 66 last year, we gave visitors to Model World Live a sneak peek at the model of 66721 Harry Beck that the London Transport Museum has commissioned from Bachmann. With the main range models arriving at the end of 2025, and with lots of you already enjoying our sublime sheds, the museum shop has now opened the order book for 66721, which carries the striking map livery that was applied in 2013 to mark 80 years since Harry Beck produced his iconic London Underground map. Arriving next month, you can find links to order this and the other exclusive models in the video description below.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, but we've got plenty more planned for the year ahead to cater for many interests across multiple scales. And that's not forgetting the 7 new tooling projects that we've already revealed and will be arriving in 2026, like the Branchline 8Fs, the Graham Farish hulls and modified hulls, and the Class 313s and 314s from EFE Rail in 00 scale, to name just 3. Find full details of these forthcoming items alongside our current range, plus all of today's announcements in the 2026 Combined Volume catalogue, available from all Bachmann retailers later this month. So why not pay your local model shop a visit soon? I'm sure they'd appreciate your custom. We'll be back here in May for our summer British Railway announcements, but in the meantime, for all the latest news from Bachmann Europe, make sure you're signed up to our newsletter. Find a link in the description below if you're not already subscribed. And subscribe to the YouTube channel too for the latest notifications about all our future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next time.